Welcome everyone to another episode of Subnautica, where we are now building a really big base here on the floating island. And as you can see, I am still getting a little bit of stuttering issue from looking at the big garden area. But down underwater, it's not such a bad problem anymore. I have done a little bit of work. Now, there's a few things I want to address from the comments. One is that, yes, the moon pools will connect in the middle, as you can see here. And right now, I am actually going with this setup, though what I'm considering is to take this middle one out and put a stack of multi-purpose rooms. So I have a central place for battery charging and supplies for people who are using the sea moths, and then putting additional sea moths on each side. So we have 4 instead of 3, or 4 instead of 5, because we can make another one fit over here barely. I might actually have to move some of this back, which is another reason why I'm kind of waiting a little bit about building out too much further with this, because as you can see, I have a farm going here, the underwater farm. And what happened, I was actually wanting to have it where I put a hatch on the end of it like this, but when I started building, I ran into a problem with the platforms. The foundations do not want to place over here on this side, and it really didn't want to place where it is now. But somehow I managed to turn just the right tiny millimeter of the mouse and it went green, and I snagged the opportunity and got it working. I can build out here, but now if you see, as soon as it places green in the ghost, my frame rate drops drastically. I am significantly having problems now. You can see how bad it is. So I don't know if I want to actually build out another row here because for some reason just placing that foundation is causing a major issue in the rendering engine, and it's just causing a lot of stutter. So what I've gone with, as you can see here, is a little spot where I can hop in and out for that. And I went ahead and followed what some people suggested, was putting glass tubes. Right now my hull strength is still close to 100. It's not quite there yet. It's no longer at that point, but you can see I come here, I have my moon pools, and the only way to make this work consistently between the 3 of them, or if I add more on the sides, was to have the modification station, the upgrade station, on the end here, which is fine. And technically, I could add battery chargers and lockers in each of these, so the crew, before they get in the sea moth, can access supplies and, you know, get freshly charged batteries for their tools. Things like that. So I really don't have to have some kind of multi-purpose room stack for that. I will be creating some place to charge the power cells, basically like a room for just charging power cells for the, 4 Cyclops that we have docked here. So when they come in, they can take the power cells out and recharge. And you can see a nice view from here because I have done glass tubes all the way down this way. And, it's not a big problem to get glass. It's just going to eat into my supplies for making the solar panels. But you can see here a nice slow approach how well this looks right now. Everything looks really good coming up on it like this, and I am definitely going to keep it like this. I want to have the glass connector going all the way out there so you can see as you walk towards this the Cyclops in the distance, and just the look of it looks really good like this. So I'm really liking having that aspect, but I still have to have a lot of hull strength. Now, I did follow another suggestion. People said to put curved glass connectors on the end, and I'm believing this is what you meant. On the middle ones where you have tubes connecting, put a curved connector in, which works great. It connects here. I could walk around. You could technically see, and it fits with the fact that I have glass windows on the inside tracks for everything. But then at the same time, in the middle, I still have the, reinforcements, because you really don't need to look across at each other. The only catch there is it doesn't seem to fit with the end pieces where it's just one. I mean, yes, I can see it. It will not interfere like the observatory would be in the way, but it feels like there should be something there, which is why I'm considering doing like a multi-purpose room out here, like coming off of this connector, like this, coming out through here, changing that, and having a multi-purpose room here for maybe the power cells, or maybe even having the multi-purpose room here like that. You see how it connects there? I could have that and just have that as part of the power cell charging area for this, and it gives an enclosure for that, though I don't like the idea of the enclosure. I still like maybe having something in the middle, but I would like to hear your thoughts, so be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you think of these changes I made so far, the ideas I've outlined here. Right now, what I am going to do is finish up some more grow beds here. Hopefully where we don't have a problem, I have to take this section off, but if I do, we will still have that going in the distance, and I can still build out in the distance this way with the foundations. It's just, as you see, I am getting horrific frame rates by trying to put down a foundation. Just doing that, it gives me a horrific frame rate while it's green, and then I am perfectly fine once I place it or once it goes red. So I really don't know what's going on with that. I don't know why that would be interfering with it right there. But like I said, I'm going to start by getting this filled out a little bit more with some more grow beds. Okay, so I've got the grow beds done on one side, and while I do have the little L pattern going here, and I could start another row, I kind of want to wait. I did finish the one on the end here, but I'm kind of thinking I might save that and just extend this down further where it reaches over here, and then have another connector on the end, and then try to make it where this lines up, hopefully over here, with a connector that goes up and then connects back up to the surface area right there, so you can have an easy way to connect down to here. So I really kind of want to be cautious with considering how bad it's stuttering right now. I want to be a little more apprehensive before I start loading up with just grow beds all along the full length and filling it up with all sorts of plants and just have it stutter even worse. So I will be planting some stuff along this row before next episode, letting it grow in full. I want to think a bit about the counts, how I want to do it, because I know a lot of glowing creep vine is going to probably cause problems with the way it's rendering. Now, I did make an adjustment. Somebody suggested putting in a hatch on the underside, where instead it saves a little bit of trouble here. I do kind of like the way it looks from this end, but at the same time, I feel like the distance there, it looks a little bit better. It stands out more. You can see those connectors better, rather than it's like, oh, you come up here and, oh, there's little, you know, little breath mint on the end there. It works better on the inside, I think, but I do want to know what you think. If you like the way I had it with the little T section that shows off, great, I'll stick with that. If not, then I will take these out and we'll go with just simple hatches all along the way. But this is now how it's starting to look. So you come here, this is one of the end pieces for the middle. So I could just see this, but that means it helps to guide everything in, like people have suggested. And then coming along here, I actually have the curve that goes all the way around. So now I can see, and we do of course have a work light above my head right now, so I can see the end of each Cyclops better. And again, just going back over here, I have a nice little spot like that, and then I'm going to have to swim out because this is a lower connector. Now I could always add a connector right here as well and be like, hey, you know, this lines up. I could put a vertical connector so you could climb straight down. I'm kind of liking the idea of as much connectivity as possible between different spots. But, you know, that's where I am now. I'll probably go ahead and get some plants going today just so we have time for them to grow. But again, I do not want to put too much in just yet because I want to see how it responds. If foundations are making it stutter as bad as they are right now, like this, where my frame rate drops to almost nothing, then yeah, I'm a little worried about actually putting a lot of plants on this spot. It may end up being a case I just have to put the grow beds and take all the plants out because the plants are not going to work with the rendering engine. Okay, so got a few things done real quickly. Because I kept coming back and forth working on the glass tubing here, getting supplies, you know, getting air, I ended up not liking the way the little T sections looked hanging down. They look fine from one direction, but not so much from the other. So I've gone ahead and replaced all of those with just hatches in the floor. So thank you to John Turpak for the suggestion on that. It definitely looks a lot better from this side. I'm not sure if I like it from the other angle, but hey, we're kind of limited on what we can do in this game. With that being said, now I have finished what I think is going to be the right setup for the glass tubes here. You can see it's a very long tube, just runs all the way along here, gives you a nice visual underneath everything. And I think I have got everything lined up right. I was trying to decide if I need to go a little bit further out because of that gap there, but in the end, I think I would ultimately have to kind of zigzag to get it to line up just right. I wanted to kind of have it as simple, straightforward as possible. So what we have is a spot that I think will work. If I sit right here, I should be able to build straight up and hopefully not clip anything on the island itself there, and hopefully be able to avoid like that, which may not work. It's kind of, it depends on which angle you look at, is if from this angle, I should be fine. From this angle, I'll probably hit it. So it's really going to be a hit or miss. I'll probably have to just bring the supplies, build up as high as I can, and then rethink. If it's not going to work, I'll have to just tear everything back down and redo it again. But that is the way it looks right now. This is the full length. You can see how far away we are from the other section. You can actually see part of that section there. And I went ahead, just went glass all the way around, and I did bring a sea moth out. I brought that over to make it easier to get back. But I want to show you, if I take that off, I still have almost 100 hull strength, thanks to the like 4 more hull integrity, hull reinforcements that I put in. So we're still doing good. It's 89.3 hull strength right now. I am still doing fine with this. And that means I can just start stacking right here and, have my ladders going up. And I probably won't be able to do a full set of windows all the way around just because I'll be, it'll really take away some hull strength doing that for the whole structure unless I find a way to add more that way. Or once we get done here, go straight down and at the base of this have some foundations to help with hull strength down this way. But I don't think that's going to work. I think what's going to happen is I'm just going to build straight down this way too and try to find the closest geothermal vents I can and build a set of thermal plants from them to help provide power, as well as maybe some bioreactors down this way. Maybe actually have another spot up top with bioreactors. You see, we are almost right over one of the openings. I could have gone really far down that way, but not going to happen. That's fine. It's going to work the way it is up there, hopefully. But I'm going to, before I do that, this coming week, I'll be spending time building the multi-purpose rooms up a bit more and testing everything to make sure that works, unless I can find enough titanium to make that happen today. Right now, I am going to go ahead and get my sea moth taken back over there and then start gathering up some plants. All right, we are here up on the island, and let's go ahead and do a somewhat walkthrough tour of everything I've gotten done so far on this, as long as it doesn't stutter up and freeze completely. So we come in this way. We've got this little tube, but I may replace this with some glass tubing so you can see out of it more, because this is a nice view up here. Even though we do get some stuttering with this, especially when we're outside. What's weird is it doesn't seem to stutter as bad when I'm inside looking out the glass panes as it does when I'm outside. But there's all my food production. And of course, while I'll have the, solar farm done in the future out there producing even more power than it's producing right now. But we're going to go down and I'll probably do something different in here. Some kind of welcome center type thing, maybe. Coming down this way, we are in the, docking area for the Cyclops. The different ones. So I'm right here at the middle, and we go out to the end here, going along this way, making sure not to fall through the hatches. We come into this room, which is just a temporary one. I'm trying to decide if I want to have this maybe above everything. I'm not 100% sure yet. It's just kind of, I'm testing something with it. It probably won't stay, but I might keep it. Anyway, we've got some plants growing already. I brought some creepvine seed clusters, so these will produce seeds. I also have blood oil, and that's all I could think of right now. I want to see how this responds when the light glow starts from the creepvine clusters before I start planting them all along the area at different spots. But we do have that. So coming in here, this will extend out later. Right now we just have this section which comes along, and we do have a sea moth. I went ahead, put in the first one. It's ready to go, and it is called the Whirlpool. It's already outfitted for utility actually to be used, and it has the depth upgrade, so I can go way down, further than I probably can actually access in this area, unless I go out to the void, but, you know, we won't be doing that. It's got sonar for mapping, it's a research vessel, and then it has storage so you can gather up supplies while you're out using it, or so I can use it for picking up supplies and bringing them back here for building stuff. Then, you know, we come along here to the middle section, and this long walk here, long glass corridor, you get to look up and see all this nice underside visibility of everything, get to see stuff as it renders in the distance. And then, what is this? I went ahead and did it. I've got a whole stack of multi-purpose rooms. I have not put ladders in yet. All I did was stack them up vertically, so I still have to do the ladders for climbing up everything. But the problem I've run into now is trying to figure out how I am going to continue stacking them. I believe there's a problem trying to place them up above each other, because this one I could reach here. You see I can reach it from this spot. I don't think I can reach the next one up quite so easily. Like, that one is probably going to be the last one I can reach this method, and then have to actually have another way. So I'm going to have to experiment a bit during the coming week to see how I'm going to continue building up. But it does appear, at least from this point, that that is going to go pretty much clear of everything. Like right here, you can see it's not lining up with that. Here you can see it's not lining up with that. So I should be fine to build as high as possible, assuming I can find an easy enough way to do it that doesn't require some kind of cheap console command to make me float in the air, which I don't even think there is one like that where I can build. I know there's free cam, but I don't think I can actually build while using that sort of thing. Plus, I want to try to keep this as legitimate as I can on building that. So I'm going to have to do some toying around. I know there's methods, special tricks people have used. I want to see what's going to work best for me. So that is what I'm going to be working on this week. All right, that is going to be it for today's video. I want to go ahead and say thank you again to John Turpak for suggesting to put the hatches on the underside where the Cyclops dock. I also want to say thank you to Stanley Borden for the suggestion of the half curves at the end. That actually looks really good now that I've played around with it. I think it's going to work really well, and I'll be doing some more experimenting with that. In terms of Nixoville, I want to go ahead and say, yes, like I said earlier, I do want to have some kind of spot for a power cell charger type station for the Cyclops. When they dock, you know, they need to take their stuff out and recharge while they're here. So we need something like that. So be thinking, Nitso, of an idea. If you've got one, everybody else, be sure to think of one and leave me a comment below. Let me know what your suggestions are for this, because I would be glad to test them out and see how they look. But again, that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave me a like, leave me a comment below with your suggestions, and hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. As always, I am your host, Mr. Spicy. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to stay spicy this week, and I will see you next time.